Hello and welcome back to Game, Develop, Repeat. I'm your host, Chris, and in a previous episode we talked about why we play games. Well, today I want to talk about why people make games. If you're a longtime listener of this podcast, you probably have some level of interest in making video games. Maybe you're just an enjoyer of games. Maybe you are a creative person who's just kind of exploring, peeking your head into the idea of making a game. Or maybe you're somebody who's been working on their own project for a while. No matter what the case is there, I think it's interesting to explore why it is that we make games. And I think everybody is going to have their own motivation, but I want to talk through a few different ideas of this. So let's imagine that you're playing an open world RPG and it's setting goals for you and it's saying, okay, we want you to go work through these areas and clear this area and save this kingdom and what have you, and then fight the final boss and all of this stuff. What are the sub goals in making a game, and what is the final boss for you, right? Are you looking at this and are you going, the final boss is making $1 million? Are you looking at this and you're going, the final boss is expressing myself and being proud of the result of that attempt at expression? Are the sub goals making money? Are the sub goals making a lifestyle that allows you to continue focusing more and more and more on the self-expression so you can master the craft? What are these sub goals? What are they working towards? What's the final boss? What are the skills that your character has to learn in this open world RPG that is making games? Do you need to learn archery? Do you need to learn all of these sub skills? Can you hire things out? Is this a puzzle game to you, right? If we turn your life of developing games into a game, what does it look like? What are the goals? What are the milestones? And what is it that keeps you playing? Is it the results? Are you here to see what the end is like? Are you here to see where it all leads? Or are you here because you love the gameplay? Are you here because you love the process of developing something, of creating something, of enjoying this like intense, strange, puzzling, where you can't quite feel what it is that you're creating, or you know exactly what you're creating, but you can't quite figure out how to execute on it? It's going to be different for everybody, and there is no one clean answer to the question that I'm asking today. But what I do want to do is get you to think about it just enough that you can refine that process a little bit, because I think it's very easy to ignore our motivations behind making things. And I think at times that's appropriate, but I do like to take a little peek in there, because I've had periods of my life where my motivations for my goals, if I had taken a peek at them, I would have gone, oh, you know what? These aren't good goals for me. This isn't actually good. Times when I was so focused on money that I forgot that I wasn't enjoying the thing I was working on. Times when I was so focused on succeeding that I didn't realize that I wasn't even working on something that it was worth succeeding at, or that I really wanted to succeed at. Had I reached the finish line on some of my music-related goals, I would have reached that finish line and I would have gone, oh, wait, this isn't fulfilling to me. This isn't something I'm hyped on. Now, at the same time, had I been approaching music from a different angle, I think it could have been really fulfilling. Had I had a different mindset, a different reason to be working on it, I could have found the things that I love about it, focused on those, and gotten better at it as well. Like, really enjoyed the process. I think that if you were enjoying the process of doing something, you're going to do it more and you're going to get better at it. I think that's the secret, right? I think that's one of the big keys to getting really good at something hard is that you love doing the difficult thing. Because if you love doing the difficult thing, then you're going to kill it. You're going to do a great job. But we'll dig into that sort of thing more in the next section. Let's focus in on this why we're chasing game development first. Let's establish this a little bit deeper. For me, I have multiple goals, right? I love the process of creating things, and game development gives me the opportunity to create a wide variety of things. If I get tired of working on this thing, I start working on this thing. The bulk of the work, the largest chunk of the work, is probably programming at this phase of my game development. And I find that deeply rewarding, finding out these puzzles, developing this skill, all of this stuff. And then when I'm not working on that, I'm working on some art, I'm working on community building, I'm working on all these other things. And maybe I have a little bit of an odd angle to game development because I'm realizing one of the factors that I most enjoy about game development is connecting with other people, is building some kind of a community around it. And I love the programming, but I love the connection with other developers. I like the element of having a community of people who are all interested in the same thing, of engaging in a creative community. That's a huge motivator for me. I like having a craft that I'm working on alongside other people. And that's an odd place maybe to draw motivation for game development. It's easy to look at game development and look at it as this very how do I say that word? A very solo solipsist. It's a very solo oriented like profession. We think of it that way a lot, at least, or hobby. You think of the solo game developer sitting there just locked in, just absolutely like for 7 years, just working on one project without any contact from the outside world. And I just don't think that's accurate. I think in some cases people do that, and I think that's great. But somehow that is not like the thing for me. I think if I'm not connecting with other people, if I'm not sharing my development in some way, not like full on, it's a little bit less satisfying for me. And I just wonder how different that element is for everybody, because I'm sure it's totally different. Some people want to fully, protect their process. And that is true for me too. If I was working on one big long-term project, I don't think I would want to share all the details. I would want to still be connected to a community, but I would want to kind of have a little private room that I keep my own work in, that I don't show it to other people, that is locked away, totally private. Like I can get behind that too, but I would still want to share the process with people and talk through it and connect with others. So in that way, I guess it's a little bit of an MMO, which is interesting because I'm not really an MMO player, but there is this community drive. So like making game development or make the game of developing games is like, yeah, there's all these sub goals, but then there's this broader goal of just connecting with others. And I think as long as I'm having fun connecting with other developers, then I'm accomplishing one of my underlying goals. Do I also have financial goals? Yes. Do I also have creative goals? Yes. I want my game to express some feeling, I want my games to communicate something to the world. Specifically what? I'm not 100%. It's going to vary from project to project. I want my creations to be able to financially sustain me at some point so that I can focus more on creating things and so that I can make a living doing something that I really enjoy doing. That's fine. But there's also this goal of communicating and being creative with other people that is actively getting fulfilled. And that makes the process of learning game development and getting better at game development so much easier to stick to and so much more rewarding. Let's dig in on the process a little bit and loving the process of developing games or loving the process of whatever it is that you are trying to do, that you are trying to get good at, whatever creative aspect of game development or just creative art in general you're into. I think it's essential that we love the process. I think one of the most important foundational things we can do is love what we do. I cannot express how important that is to me. There have been things that I try to make myself enjoy doing. There have been things that I try to force myself to work on the daily. And it's such a grind if you don't love some part of it. There has to be something you enjoy within it. You don't have to love every moment of it. I don't love certain elements of posting this podcast. There's a chunk of just drudgery involved where I'm lining up all the audio clips and doing the right things to just make it sound kind of okay, right? There's like all this like processing stuff and then like logging into the site and posting and all that stuff. I don't love that, but I love the overall project, right? There are things about it that I really enjoy. I love sharing all of my process. I love having a sort of a monologue. I was going to say a conversation, but I'm self-aware enough to know that this is me talking at you sometimes. I enjoy processing my thoughts in this way. And because of that, I keep coming back time and time again. And with game development, the connecting to the community has been an essential part of it for me right now. And the solving of puzzles and the seeing something come out of nothing. These are all parts of the process that pull me in and make me come in again and again and again. And the very act of learning new skills. There is something about learning a new skill that's deeply rewarding. But I guess what I'm asking, or what I'm getting at, is when you sit down to develop games, once you get past the barrier of, okay, I got to get myself to sit down and work on this. I'm already tired. I've been doing all this stuff. I'm exhausted, whatever. And maybe you take a little break and you get past that barrier and you go, okay, now I'm going to work on this stuff. When you're in it, when you're in the weeds, when you've been working on this for 30 minutes and you're kind of making some progress and you have a little breakthrough and all this stuff, do you love it? You know, in that moment, when it's good, how good is it? You know? And when it's bad, how bad is it? On the whole, are you enjoying development? What makes you enjoy development more? What little factors go into your enjoyment of creating things? Are you putting so much pressure on your game development that you can't enjoy it? Because that's something I've done in the past. I've done that with so many different projects across my life with creative pressure, where I just put so much pressure onto the act of creating something and so many expectations and so many goals and all this stuff. I put 1,000,001 things down on top of the act of creating, and then I cannot create because I'm getting chased, right? I'm getting run ragged by all these expectations that I've set on myself. And it's hard to let go of that, but that sort of thing in the past has made me hate something that I love. It's taken me from, I love working on this project, I love making music, I love working on art, I love this, that, the other, to, oh my God, I have to finish this project because if I don't, I'm never going to get good. And if I never get good, then I'm never going to make money and I'm going to be homeless living in a cardboard box because I'm a creative person and blah, 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 and woe is me. Things are so difficult. Why isn't the world easier on me? Now I'm blaming other people. Now I'm not even paying attention to the fact that I get to sit around and work on the things that I enjoy working on. And now I can't work on them, right? You go down this rabbit hole. You get stuck in this negative loop of like all of these awful angles on creativity, right? All because you put too much focus on it. You know, it becomes life or death, and it's not life or death. It's a thing that we're doing because we love doing it. And I think this is why it's so essential to have things in your life that actively take the pressure off of your creativity. I'm terrified of a day when I don't have a way to make money outside of my creative endeavors. the idea that I have to deliver consistently on making something in order to get paid is horrifying. The idea that I have to make a great game or I don't get any money, the idea that I have to deliver cool art or great music or whatever on a weekly basis or I don't get paid is horrifying because I do not know what system I will use to take the pressure off of that. That's a lot of pressure. That's concerning. That is one of the hardest things to manage when you're kind of working creatively, because if you're feeling too much pressure, it becomes very hard to create. And then it can become kind of a vicious cycle. This is why I'm a big fan of having work. Having some kind of paid gig while you are building up a creative career, because I think that it gives you the time and the space to become better at managing that pressure, for one, and understanding how you get paid doing creative things. I think getting paid consistently over a long period of time will make you more comfortable with the fact that it's going to be okay. You know, I think it's really, really scary, for good reason, to just jump into making money off of creativity without having a history of doing it, because there's a lot to manage there. So I don't know how exactly I got onto that tangent, but that's an interesting side of developing things as like a career. Is you can totally just stun lock yourself. You can totally just wreck yourself by putting too much pressure on it and then not being able to create. I think it can kill the love of the process that we were talking about. I think if you get too focused on the finances too early on, there's a good chance that you lose the reason why you're making games to begin with. And I think I'm so interested in this. I want to know why everybody's making games. I want to know how many of us are like, I just want to be rich. I want to know how many of us are like, I just want to make things. I want to make a beautiful world. I want to tell a beautiful story. I went through this difficult thing as a child and I need to express it. I have a lot of feelings and I'm not that good with words, and I just want to show people what I'm going through and I just want to share this with them. I really had a lot of fun when I played Tetris for the first time, and now I just want to give that experience to somebody else. I have a relative who likes a specific type of game, and I just want to give them this as a gift. I want to make this just to see how the world reacts to it. I don't really care how the world reacts to what I want to make. I just want to make something because I'm curious about the process I'm going to go through in making this game. How am I going to grow as a person? What's going to happen to me internally from making this thing? Maybe you just have an idea that is bugging you and you're like, I just want to explore this idea. That's all it is. I just want to explore it. I just got to explore it. It's there. I have to do it. I don't know why. I just have to. There are so many motivations, all of them good. Most of them good. I think as long as it's something that you're excited about, that keeps you moving forward, that keeps you going, yeah, I want to do this. I have a reason to do this. This is really, really hard. All right? It's so difficult to make games, but it's not that hard if you know that there's a reason behind it. And you don't have to know specifically what the reason is, but you got to feel it. You got to go, the reason is I want to, right? Or the reason is this or whatever. You just want to do it, you know? And maybe you have a specific communicatable reason, right? Specific reason you can put into words. Maybe you don't. But I feel like if you have that reason, then the odds are so much higher that you're going to make it. And then if you make it, and I mean make the game, I don't mean make it financially. I mean, you're going to create the thing. If you create the thing, I think you're going to grow as a person. And I think that is why we do anything to some extent. I think everything we're doing is exploring ourselves and growing as people and discovering more about how we relate to the world around us and how we relate to each other and what it is that we are here to contribute to the world. Because, like, what's the point if you're not having an impact on other people, a positive impact on other people? Like, we're all kind of just here trying to get better at things together. We're trying to share our experiences and understand other people's experiences and connect those dots a little bit so that we can all make the best of this experience. I think for today, that's everything I've got to say about this topic. So let's go ahead and wrap this episode up. I've got a couple questions for you this week, and I'll answer them myself, as usual, but a couple questions to hopefully get you thinking about your own process and maybe help you move forward or help me move forward, what have you. So the first question is, what is your favorite part of making games? Right now. This isn't like a permanent thing. You're not tied to this. You're not wedded to this. Just at the moment, what are you enjoying the most about making games? For me right now, it's got to be community connection, community building. But a close second is going to be the programming itself. Doing stuff in code, it's so satisfying. It scratches this itch deep in my brain, and I don't know what the deal is with it. I don't know why, but there's something about working on code that makes me go, ooh, that's the stuff. That's good, right? There are also moments when I'm working on code where I go, oh, okay, I would like to scream just really loud. I'd like to just scream for like 10 minutes straight off of one breath right now. I can't stand this. But there is something deeply satisfying about working in code. So that's what I'm thinking there. What's your favorite part right now? What's got you going? Is it the art? Is it the music? Is it sound effects? What is it? It could be some tiny, tiny little detail that for some reason you're just like, oh, I'm so excited about using this tool, right? Like imagine a maker, like an Adam Savage type person, right? Gets a new like a lathe or something, and they're just like, oh my god, I'm so excited about this lathe. I've never had this lathe has new features. Like maybe you're really hyped on some engine or something. That's valid too. Whatever it is, whatever's got you excited right now. Next question. I'm rambling. Next question is, are you taking time to enjoy the process? And what I mean by that is a little bit, I'm kind of focused in on a specific thing. So I think I am taking time to enjoy the process. And what I mean by that is I'm enjoying it in the moment. So while I'm streaming, I'm enjoying the streaming. I'm enjoying the connecting with people. I'm enjoying the conversations around game development that are happening. When I'm working on the pixel art, I'm enjoying the pixel art, you know? I'm enjoying the thing I'm doing at any given moment. Like, yeah, I'll take time to reflect and what have you. Like, I'll give myself a little bit of space. I think that's an important element of it too. But am I grinding in that way where I'm not even aware of the fact that I'm grinding? Or am I like, I'm programming right now and I'm enjoying the ups and downs of programming? And like, I'm feeling it, I'm experiencing it, I'm having fun doing it. Or am I just numbing out? Because that's totally something we can do. And I think this is a hard one to express, but I think there's a difference between getting it done and experiencing getting it done. And if you enjoy something, experience getting it done. If you don't enjoy it, you don't have to be like present in the moment for it. I'm about to post this episode. I've got to do some like audio editing stuff, and then I've got to just like post it. And that's like grunt work. It's just like boring stuff that has to be done. That's fine. I can like listen to music in the background or whatever. Well, not really, because it's audio editing, but I don't have to lock in aggressively on enjoying that part of the process. It'd be nice if I could, and maybe there's a way to do that. But the things that you do enjoy, are you paying attention while you're experiencing them? And not in that, this gets so subtle, not in that way where you're like calling it out, but just in that way where you're just like, oh yeah, that breeze is really nice. Or, ooh, I like the sound of that leaf crunching on the ground. Those little experiences. Like, are you letting yourself notice these things? Anyway, am I doing that? I think so. To some extent. It depends on what part of the process we're looking at, but I think I'm getting better and better at it as time goes on, as we move forward with this. And I've got a tip for myself this week, which is maybe contradictory to this entire episode. This is maybe literally the opposite of what I just did for like half an hour. The tip for myself is don't overthink it. Just enjoy it. Right? Like, all of this stuff that we just talked about, everything that I just went off about, we don't really need to think about all that as long as we're enjoying ourselves. This is the stuff we got to pay attention to if we get in trouble a little bit. And then we got to go, hold on. What's going on? What's the problem? Oh, I'm not enjoying it. But like, if you're enjoying it, just enjoy it. Just have a good time with it. You're making games, man. You're making a fun experience for yourself and other people. That can just be what it is. And that's great. There's a certain beauty in that. There's a certain innocence in just making something because you think it's going to be an enjoyable experience for others. Maybe not necessarily fun, right? We've talked about that in the past. Fun and enjoyable and enticing are all different things, but there's a joy in just making stuff. So you don't need to overthink it, Chris. You can just enjoy it. That's everything I've got for you this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. If you want to connect with the community, we've got a Discord. If you want to watch me try to make games, I do it on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern for 3 hours, and then I play games for a bit. I'm still doing Celeste, Dust Force, and Hollow Knight. That's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the moment. At some point, I'll finish with one of those, and then we'll move on to a different game. That's, by the way, I'm sorry, that is all of my gaming. Like, every week, I'm just doing 6 hours of gaming. And it's all on stream, and something about doing this on stream has completely removed my urge to play games off stream. I just play games on stream, and that's it. It's just that's all. If I wasn't streaming, I would be playing way more, but something about playing games on streams like fully fulfills the urge to play video games. And that's so confusing to me. It's so odd. But it's cool. So I don't know what else there is to say about that, but it's super interesting. Okay, that is genuinely everything I've got for you this week. Feel free to reach out, anxiousbuddhagames@gmail.com, or in the Discord if you want anything, if you want to connect, if you got questions, if you just want to share what you're working on. I love seeing what people are working on. Hit me up. You know the deal. And that's all. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, get out there, make some stuff, and have fun with it. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.